This conference will now be recorded.
About my boss, wherever I park it, it's my spot. I'm bigger than that.
What's not set up yet? We'll wait.
School bus.
That was the union.
No, but the way you, as soon as you hit it, you're both accident.
Nobody got
I think they was going down, but it's like you're in something.
The way people drive to avoid a bus, nothing surprises me.
You wanted the Bears.
I got stuck behind one this morning, but I was late, and this person relieves me, he was late. I had to let him
I'm a Bears, but I'm a
go.
I figured this way, it's a privilege to look at my kids.
Well, that's sort of just as two school buses come out and block and pick every kid up on the street. Yeah. Like, come on, I go out, look, things come out.
I know what you're saying.
Just like, well, yeah.
Remember,
Late start.
I'm still collecting those kids with that one.
Right.
Razors cost too much.
Yeah, right. Save it up.
That's right. Good, it's cool.
Save electric charge.
Yeah.
All right, should we start the meeting? Hang the hammers, do the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, as we gather this day to do the important business for the people of the village of Owego, grant us wisdom, compassion, and understanding. Amen.
All right, first section, as usual, is public comment. I don't think. All right, anything from anybody online? See, we got. Yeah. Can everybody online hear us? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, nobody can hear us. First thing is department head report. Robin, you got?
Last month was 142 calls for the month. Already this month, and it's only the 7th, we're already up to 43. Other than that, things have been okay. You know, we've been having some problems with trying to get recruitment still. The ones that we've been looking at are missing some certifications before I'll interview. But it's been tough on Son, so she's been sick a lot as a result. So, but other than that, everybody's been stepping up a little.
Good. Anybody got anything for Robin?
Of course not. That's good.
That's good. Jimmy, you're up.
So, first agenda, past chief, assistant chief Joseph Hopkins passed away. That's gonna be donated page in your minutes. He was a member for 40 years to the fire department. We'll be holding his services this Friday and Saturday. We're holding a food drive, clothing drive this Saturday as well, Station 3 and at the Southside Mobile. To collect non-perishable goods for local charities. We'll be holding that from 10 to 3. I have 3 resignations I need to put through. Ben Barone and Rebecca Monticelli moved out of state. And then Timothy Mead. Hold on there.
Who was the last one?
I think we just have to accept them. I don't think we really voted on them.
Tim Mead?
Mead, Timothy.
I think they just vote to accept.
And I don't think we can really say you can't resign.
I'm the deputy accept those resignations from the three resignations that we have.
Second?
We'll vote on that quick. Fran,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
and yes.
New member for Croton Hose Company number 3 is Dalton Keemack. He lives in Berkshire but works in the village at Weaver Automotive 40 hours a week. He's looking to do fire police.
Jimmy, would you spell his name first?
Dalton, Dalton, last name Keemack, Kemak.
What company?
Police.
Move to accept Dalton Keegan. Thank you.
All right, any questions on him? Fran? We're voting for him.
Yes. Sorry.
Charles,
Yes.
Ed,
Move someone around. All right.
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
and yes.
I sent out an email. Rusty, don't have an email, you can pass it. Did anybody else not get my email?
Carrier pigeon.
Thank you.
So we're looking to update SOG standard operating guideline. They're pretty old. And talking to our insurance company, they recommended us to a company called Lexipol. Get us back on track and get us to where we need to be. And that's going to be permission to allow the chief officers to update the SOGs as we see fit.
Is there a cost involved with that?
Absolutely. Starting cost is $2,300. And then depending on which features we want, it goes up. Just to start us tonight, I have that money in my budget, so it's like, so.
So Jimmy, I mean, SOGs are always, SOGs, not SOGs are always important. You feel that you need the assistance of these folks to do today's SOG? Okay. I would not like to say it in the way that you would just ask for it, that the fire chiefs get the permission to do what they want, come up with the SOGs as you want, and then bring them back to us, and we'll approve them.
Well, my only concern is this is gonna take 6 to 12 months, right? And each time I do an SOD, I gotta bring it back to this board and wait for approval. And we might be just wasting money and wasting time
You're not gonna bring it back.
on each policy. As soon as I complete a policy, I'd like to put it.
These are all policies.
Yes.
A lot of policies.
A lot of work. I mean, just going with this company is probably gonna take 6 to 12 months if the chief officer's done.
So one of the things, looking through the list of policies that have been planning to update, I mean, several of these are ones that the village board really should be reviewing and approving. And I will want the board to have not been aware of what some of these are. I think a lot of these aren't gonna be any big issue. I think every time there's one that's up for, here's the final version of it, just send it to the board and have the board approve it at the next meeting. Rusty will give it his fine tooth comb and he'll probably point out some language errors, but yeah, the board can approve it.
So that, if that was the case, then what permission do you want from us? That permission is to spend the money to go to this company, or
Well, set aside the budget, so like I said.
it's already in the budget? for this. So you're just gonna contract with them, you're gonna get their assistance, and you're gonna move along. No, there's no approval here from us.
More informational, I guess.
And the last thing, most of you are aware of the station, Central Station, the upstairs with the leaks. We had a company, from Owego come in and do some sampling of air testing. They did lead, asbestos, and mold. I just got word that some of the tests came back, they're still waiting for others, but he told me to stay at company number 4's room because there's an airborne pathogen in there basically that will give you meningitis.
Oh.
So a lot of people have been in 4's room, but that's what the floor looks like right now. That's the picture they're on. Here actually, the hole is actually got dead pigeons, and feces, and like that into 4's room.
From the tower, right?
Yes, from the clock tower. So.
Jim, did they test other rooms in
They
the?
tested every room, including the basement.
So the major problem at this particular thing is Forest Room. How are we on the other places? Do we have?
Right now, he said that they didn't find any asbestos, but they're waiting for the one test to come back. Once that comes back, he will have a full report for us.
So at the very least, we're
But
going,
he was very concerned about that.
at the very least, we're going to shut that room off.
So that brings up my next question or concern is the stuff that is in that room. We moved a lot of stuff. There is a glass case full of ribbons that date back all the way into the 1800s. We removed it, set it on the pool table, however, the ribbons are starting to curl and stuff because it's not the only glass case. It's very heavy. I'm sure it's very expensive. So I guess as a fire department, what can we do to put that in a controlled storage room and pay somebody to move this out of the station? It took 6 guys to get it off the wall, let alone get it downstairs.
We haven't taken it downstairs yet.
It's-
Everything's always temporary. We never know what's going to happen, et cetera, et cetera. You think that Fords would feel comfortable in putting some of their valuables in number 5's room? For the time being?
Yes, but
You don't have to take it down the stairs. You don't have to do it access right across the hall.
5 rooms leaking as well.
But I just asked about, they don't have, they haven't found I know where 5 is leaking right there. Found any major trouble there. I'm the president of Company 5. Charles is in Company 5. I cannot imagine that we will have any problem giving permission for us to put that stuff there. This is a stopgap right now. If something has to happen further than that, it certainly can. But back to you to talk more about finding something else.
Yeah, you need to preserve the history.
Is it out of the glass now?
Yeah, the glass had to come off.
Oh, you're trying to save the frame? Well, the frame
Ribbons,
probably just as old as the ribbon.
I would say that it was probably put on before the walls were done, because when we removed it, there was nothing on the wall.
So there's no full case, it's not like the case is solid, you could just take the case and put it in some other room.
It's solid. It's very heavy.
Check for cinder blocks, that's what we found in the one we.
Full of the old ribbons, so, I mean, wherever it's got, the ribbons are starting to curl and stuff. It's a lot of history right there, except some will go back into the 1800s.
Can you me to bring it back up there when the roof is acceptable?
I can put you in there if I can take it.
Well, I'm just wondering if at the end of the day, we put them back in the room.
Yes, yes.
My,
Why don't you-
I mean, I'd be hard pressed to carry that thing all the way down the stairs and back up.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, like Rusty said, it'd be safer in 5.
Do you think if we put that case with those ribbons in 5, that they would be generally okay? Or do you put it in some?
I can ask them.
So you put the glass back on. Well, I'm just offering that up as a stop
We just
solution for the moment.
just remove the contents of the case and leave the case. Like, how much is it?
It's that.
And you need to be concerned. You want to keep them.
I mean, people who do historical preservation, people I would presumably trust to actually touch this stuff.
Museum guys, maybe?
Yeah, maybe the museum guys, somebody who's comfortable and confident that they can physically place them on a, I'm imagining a velvet cushion with a black piece over it.
I mean, I guess my ask is to put it in a controlled climate area and make sure it's safe and sound. I mean, there's a lot of furniture in that room as well. Not alone with Vibes, it's got furniture in here, it's got the leak as well. Jeff asked us to stay in both rooms.
No, I don't know if you've asked this yet or not. I don't think these things belong to the company. I don't think you're asking for our permission. I believe you're asking for the village to take care of it. I don't know if you did that or not, but I think that's what you're
That's
asking.
what I'm asking.
The village to move it, pay for it, store it, do something, whatever to take care
I
of it.
mean, unfortunately, we've had these concerns at Central Station for years now. And nothing's been done. I got lights full of water. I got the ceiling falling in more than one room. Got dead birds laying in the rooms. I don't know what else you want to do. I'm trying.
As far as the old stuff, we can try and get a hold of the museum guys. They might know how to move it or preserve it.
It's just those stairs.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch those ribbons. I mean, if there's mold in here, there's mold in fabric.
Yeah.
Touch
I mean, you-
I would think you would want to pay a company that had some sort of liability insurance or something.
Yeah, you try to carry that down and say, all you need is one slip on the steps. That's a long way down.
Yeah. So I guess we can check into it and see what our options are. I mean, I don't even know a company that would do that or, I don't know.
If you would have got the elevator.
I'm gonna bring up in the DRI report, but you and Jeff need to get with Tim and Chris from Hunt to get that roof fixed and all that other stuff. That's like their top thing. They were supposed to get a hold of you guys this week, so.
So they don't do it.
We'll have to do it virtually. Thursday's my last day here for 6 to 12.
Yeah, that's fine. We do it remotely. Like that, get that roof going.
Can I ask?
Sure.
When they did the air test and stuff, because that was something I was getting ready to have done myself because people are getting sick in our station. Stuffed up. And as you know, one of our providers has been out quite a bit. And that was a major concern to me, so that's why I was gonna do it. So is there any way that I can find out from you what the results are from that?
Results right here.
Well, I meant for our, because you know, the circulation in that place, and there's no really division from anything. There's holes from one room to the other for plumbing. So the air is pretty much open-ended and after that picture.
Yeah, I wonder if they need some sort of air purification system there where the squad is.
I'll start with the rest.
Just a thought.
Get the guys that did the valve to come and take it out of.
Yeah, right.
So we can try to find a company and talk with the museum, see if they know anybody.
Yeah, they may just know.
So,
In the meantime, would you be interested in putting some of those things in Five's room for immediate?
As of right now, you gotta have full protective gear to go on.
They said they.
I didn't say I was gonna do it.
It means the white suits, the air
Sometimes. But yeah, so the top priority of the initial DRI work will be whatever we can do at the firehouse for the amount of money we got, which is the roof, the tower. It's probably it. Yeah. But we start at least. Anything else? Anybody have anything for Jimmy? Fire department? Tracy?
The only thing I have is a question for the attorney, and that's where are we at with the land purchase?
Last draft with some of the delays a couple weeks ago, should I, as far as I know, should have everything they wanted. I haven't heard from them.
Okay. That's all I have at this time.
Ron?
I need to call a executive session to discuss personnel issues with the sewer department.
Yeah, I mean, it's a motion to go into executive session. I guess the question would be, do you want to do more meeting prior to that or not? But you're bringing up, you're requesting an executive session.
Right, due to the time of his report.
We can do it at the end.
Fine by me, I mean, it's
Oh,
fine.
it's Tracy.
Second.
Okay, we'll vote on that. This is an executive session. At the end, about personnel issues in the sewer. Fran,
Yes.
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Ed. Ed won't be able to join us.
Yes, but I don't know how I'll participate.
Oh, well, we can call you, Ed, on the phone.
Okay.
Ron,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
and yes. Okay. Nothing else?
Nothing else, no?
Yeah.
The only thing I have is additional. That, what I just said, Thursday, last day.
Right, you're gonna be out.
Long, maybe have to add on. There's a whole team taking my place. Tracy, Mick.
Well, you're a hard act to follow.
Pardon me?
You're a hard act to follow.
And,
We don't have to.
for the first week, you won't be able to get a hold of me, but from thereafter, if something actually needs my attention, either email me or call me.
Make sure you let us know how it goes.
That's all I got.
Questions on that? And so Tracy will be will be generally running the department in your stead.
Yeah,
Where's the content?
right.
We have to swear him in or something like they did with Biden
Yeah.
and whatever.
You can swear at me.
I missed you.
After a week, you swear a lot.
Let's see, we got, pretty good. Do you have anything for Jeff? DPW?
And this is the year anniversary of our 4 feet of snow, so.
We're doing
Next
pretty
week.
good.
Yes, we are. Aren't you glad to start now?
It's supposed to be nice. We got the police chief on the line. You got anything, Joe?
Hey, Mike, can you hear me?
We can.
I don't have too much. We just had lights on the river. I just wanted to thank Jeff and Jimmy for all the help that they. Am I echoing there too? Or just?
No, just there. You're good.
Awesome. Lights on the river went without a hitch. We had a couple little small incidents, but nothing that wasn't handled. We got some new barricades that we put on the sidewalks. People seem to like them, that idea, because of the new driving vehicle through the parade stuff. And And again, Jeff and Jimmy were huge help. We couldn't have done it without them. And that's all I got, other than we got approved finally for our 3 years and waiting for the SAMS grant for 72,000+. And that was earmarked for a new police vehicle with lights, equipment, and computers, tasers, cameras, some of that stuff which we've already had. So I'm looking for permission to go ahead and tell Robert Green we can order that vehicle now. Looking to get a pickup truck. It'll be a police vehicle, special service vehicle, so that we can do things like pick up bikes and evidence and stuff like that we're having a call on DPW to assist us with. We might be able to do by ourselves now.
Chief, is that off the state bid?
That is piggybacked on a bid, yes.
Nate had a question.
Of course he did.
Do we need to approve a down amount or service or anything along?
Do you need a dollar amount? It's going to be somewhere between 48 and 50 grand with all the equipment on it. Then again, it's all covered under the grant.
I know we could get up to.
Motion not to exceed 55,000. I mean, they don't all purchase off state bid for.
Chief, we have to approve it, and we have to have a number. So what's the top amount of number that we're going to approve for this?
I don't see us for the vehicle and the equipment. I think they have us actually at 50,500. So if you made it like 52,000, it'd probably be more than enough.
Is that what we had, this 50,500 in the ask of the grant?
I think right around in there. It might be 52 that the grant was set up for that part of it. 52 to 55. I can't remember exactly, and I don't have all the language in front of me. Just the end numbers of 72 plus.
I move that we authorize the police department to buy a police pickup truck not to exceed $55,000.
I second.
Yeah, you have also to be in there.
Just maybe say off state.
Off state bid with the grant funding.
And then Rod, just fill in whatever the state contract number is that the chief is referencing.
Gary, any discussion about that? We'll vote on that. Fran?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
And yes.
Maybe get paid in about 2 years.
Yeah, probably.
If you're allowed to get a little extra money, for the snow launch.
Police plow.
Jordan.
Anything else, chief?
No, I think that's it.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question for the chief.
Okay.
We've had discussions about this. I just want to know if he wants to chime in on the police or safety concerns about marijuana on-site consumption. Chief, do you have any desire to chime in on that at this time?
Yeah, that's fine. Again, I don't want to get into any political part of it. However, I think you have until the end of the month, the 31st, to decide whether the village is going to opt out of either one of those options. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So the only thing I'm concerned about with that is it's going to be a central location for people to come and essentially smoke marijuana and hang out, and going to be leaving after that. My concern would be DWAI concerns, driving while under the influence of drugs, and also in other states that have had this, there's been other issues with robberies with people that come out of there because people realize if somebody's going in there to smoke, then somebody's probably got something to smoke on them. So there's been issues like that. crime issues in the area of those locations. So they would be my major concerns with that. And again, we don't know yet what the state's put this out there and says, yes, it's going to happen, but they've given us no guidelines, no anything yet. And it is my belief that we could opt in at any time if the village decided, yes, the state sent down this great plan and we're all going to abide by it and it looks fantastic, we can opt in now. So that's just my concern, to look at that and realize that there's going to be other crime that comes with it, even though people doesn't have the big stigma marijuana anymore of having that stuff. It still does have that crime that follows it.
Anything else?
I do.
Yeah.
Want to do it now?
Sure.
Thanks, Chief.
Yes.
The concern is DUI, driving under the influence. The concern is, I got a couple out of the last public hearing about, but those people are coming from Pennsylvania and we want them coming up here and they're coming here and we're gonna love it. Well, that's great. And so they're gonna come here and if we have the on-site consumption, then they're gonna consume and they're gonna drive back to Pennsylvania. Just until New York State has their act together about how this is all gonna work with under the influence, how is it gonna play, what are our rules gonna be? I think that this is a bad time to make that decision about on-site consumption. I will also say that when we had our public hearing, and we had a dozen or so people there, 2 village residents, only one person spoke about, everybody spoke about having a dispensary, only one person spoke about on-site consumption. And their one concern was that maybe a senior citizen that's maybe in a house with a lease where he can't smoke and maybe it's cold, won't have a place to smoke. That was the entire discussion about why on-site consumption was a good idea. That being said, I would like us to have another public hearing. I would like us to have it, and it would have to be next meeting because we only got so much time to make these decisions before the first of the year. Nate said that we should have another public hearing if we wanted to look at this stuff some more.
So this is my question. Do we have enough time to publish in the paper of record before next meeting?
13 days away.
I just don't know when they run. We may have to move to the next meeting or
You have to
something.
put it into the press. Courier is coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
But put it in the press, it's like,
Okay.
So I would be interested in having another public hearing because we only had 2 residents from the village of Owego at that public hearing. We had plenty of people interested in growing, selling, et cetera, et cetera. I'd be interested in having another public hearing. I would be interested in especially the idea of the on-site consumption. I would also be interested in having another public hearing for the dispensary. Just giving my opinion. If the idea is that opting out is not what the village board thinks that the village residents want and don't want to do it, I think that we should ask the village residents by the village board having the permissive referendum. We can set that. We don't have to have a petition to do that. We're allowed to set that ourselves. I think that we should consider not opting out of the on-site consumption. I think we should consider for the dispensary asking the village residents on March 20th or whatever, what is it you want? Instead of us making that decision based on 2 people at a public hearing. That's, we don't have to do any of those things, but we can't do them if we don't have this next public hearing. So I'm asking that we set another public hearing for these 2 local laws. Once again, we can always make the same decision we just made. We haven't promised anything, we haven't done anything. I just think that that's the way to govern and the way to do this. So I move that we have a public hearing at our next meeting on local law 3 and 4. I think those are the numbers. And we haven't made any new local laws, so those are still numbers.
You want to break it into
Yes, two laws, we could, absolutely for
two motions instead of one?
I move that we have a public hearing on our next meeting on local law 3.
Which one was?
Which one is that? Just,
I don't have it in front of me, but it'll be on the law.
well, just so we can vote.
Oh,
Which one do you want it to be? Instead of using the numbers.
let's have it on the on-site consumption. 3 or 4, whichever.
So we got a second on that. And we'll vote on that. This is to set another public hearing on that law at our next meeting, which we have enough time, right? Or someone jam us up.
Yeah, we should. Normally we have to have 10 days, but it'd be close to 10.
But as long as it's at least 10 days. I mean, the press, I think it's 48 hours from noon the next day. So
So we have, I mean, we're gonna end it up tomorrow. Yeah.
it would be published on Friday. And that would be 10 days.
So we'll vote on that. Fran?
I'd like to discuss
Oh, yeah.
before we go.
Yes.
This whole idea of a referendum vote, I think is crazy because people don't come out to vote in March. What do we get? Maybe 50, 70 people voting in March? The village is not doing it. I mean, they don't come out and vote for the village issue. So I mean, you're not gonna get the full range of the public to vote on this. Okay.
I can see the argument that's gonna go back and forth. And I can just say, we already have on-site consumption places in place at this point. They're called bars. And when people go to drink, they have a designated driver. They put them in place. Because, I mean, if I was a police officer that wanted to catch my quota and tickets, I'd sit in front of the bar, wait to see how many people come out and get in the car. Boom. Yeah, that is. So is going into a place and watching somebody coming out that might be stolen. Person with them, they might have a designated driver, yeah, designated smoker. But that's the argument that's good. If it happened with the alcohol, it's gonna happen with this. It's the same thing. I get it. I mean,
For your testing purposes is why it is. You can test for alcohol.
Yeah.
Being a previous alcoholic, I mean, I'm very guilty of driving on the.
Is there some kind of statistics that could be found out about how many accidents are with this and with that, like alcohol related? Under the influence, I'm sure Rusty found out.
Or Chief Kennedy can help us, perhaps.
Yeah, or even the crime aspect of it. I mean, you know, like I said, I've never heard of people robbing somebody just to get a joint.
We're not.
I was there. I was during the crack epidemic. Yeah, that's,
I mean,
people got smashed over the head, or even worse, just to get a rock. I lived there.
Marijuana use is already legal. We can't sell it. It's gonna go on whether we like it or not.
If all my born days.
Just a quick stat for Charles. Once the legalization of marijuana in Colorado, I know it's 2 different animals, but the marijuana related traffic deaths went up 151%. That's not a little tiny stat. That's a huge stat.
But how do you stop that just from not having a dispensary or in our village?
Well, you can't. And again, I don't want to get in the politics of the dispensary. That's up to the dispensary. Again, I'm not commenting on that. I'm just Charles asked for a stat, and I happen to know the stats from a little bit of research on the marijuana in Colorado when and other, I think there's 8 other states total or something, but there definitely is an increase in traffic accidents, traffic fatalities, and just people who have said after traffic accidents from the studies that I forget exactly what that stat was, but 57% of the people out there are driving while under the influence. And the difference is you're sitting in a bar, I can have a glass of water. You're sitting in some place where you're going to be smoking with your buddy and you're going to be the driver. You don't have that option to not inhale the smoke. So again, I don't want to get in the political part of whether it's money for the village, for the dispensaries and all that stuff. I'm just saying you're going to have stuff that is inherently going to go along with it. That's all.
Thanks, Ed. Oh, thank you, Chief.
Rusty?
So I want to make a couple things more clear. We're separating two things. We're separating dispensaries and on-site consumption of lounges. So we continue to try to blend them together. We're separating them. That's one thing. Once again, the whole reason for this opt-out is not to not ever do this or not have it. It's to give us more time, to have the state have more time to figure out what they're doing. And they absolutely haven't figured out what they're doing about driving under the influence. They have not figured out how they're going to see if somebody's stoned, see if somebody's has THC, see how much is this, is that. They don't have any of that stuff. So on the bars, they do have all that stuff. And even though it has all its problems, but all those things are in place and they're not in place yet. They don't know this stuff. That's one of the reasons why I'm asking that to potentially opt out of the lounge for it at this time. If in 6 months, 3 months, they come up with a bunch of things that make sense and feel right, feel good, we always can say, yeah, okay, you did it, we're ready. That's why I keep saying, I'm not trying to stop the marijuana, just trying to make the smart decision about what we should do short term till we know what's going on. So that's back to that. And then I said the other thing, that now the other issue of the dispensary, I said, I want to revisit that again because I would like to ask the residents what they think about that. If the village of Owego wants to have a dispensary, that's what we're going to have. Fine with me. If the village of Owego, and we have a mayoral election and a clerk election and a judge election this time, we very likely could have multiple candidates. We could have 700, 800 people show up. Beyond that, if we do this, that there will be a referendum. If people care about marijuana one way or the other, it won't just be 50 people. If 50 people show up, then nobody cared. If people care, they'll show up and vote on this issue. So those are the two things I'm trying to do. But we can't think about them anymore or talk about them anymore or get more input. I've talked to lots of residents. I don't know who else has. We can't do it if we don't set the next public hearing. So that's all I'm asking tonight is that we set another public hearing, give us another option until the first of the year.
Laura?
We had the public hearing and collectively there was about 50 people who were in the building or online for that meeting. And everybody who spoke was in favor or at least not opposed. And a lot of the discussion included both the on-site consumption and the dispensaries during the first portion. So when it got to the second portion, there wasn't much more to add. And so I think that's why they didn't have a lot of public input, the second part, because they'd already set it up the first. And then when the village withdrew the 2 laws, we told everybody who had attended that that was it. And that we were not opting out. So it's sort of the public thought it was settled. And so I don't know if people would like this. I bring it right back up after you said it, after we said it was done for the year.
I take exception to 2 things. We did not say it was done for the year. We said that we still had till the first of the year to do this some more. And I take exception on the other part. In that first part, no one spoke about the on-site consumption except one person, which I've already quoted what they said. Nobody else said a word about public consumption in the entire meeting, not in the first part, not in the second part. They continued to talk about the other pieces of it. They did not talk about that. So I take exception to those two pieces.
I can respond, but like who was it that said that the chief heard the conversation and or you, somebody said that, somebody lived in an apartment building and couldn't smoke, so they wanted to stay place to smoke.
I just said that, that was the one person
Yeah.
that said that. One person mentioned that. And and even there, they mentioned senior citizens only in that.
But there was other people who mentioned, having safe places and having places that weren't in front of other people. So to give people a place to go that wasn't on the street. It's like instead of people drinking outside or smoking in parks and stuff, it gave them a place where they would go, like a safe place, where there's ventilation and control over the products anyway, and it's a safe place for people to consume. That's not in general out in public.
I believe that's when I asked if there's other methods of ingestion, and he said yes. For which there's gummies and edibles, or whatever the case may be.
I said they could even serve food.
Right, that's they can. I mean, the whole smoking thing seems very small in the large scale.
Yeah.
Of how this thing can be
Smoking is a
consumed.
small part.
That's- My only concern is, there's other ways to do this, and there are other things these people can do to consume, wow.
Bakeries and restaurants are allowed as the on-site consumption.
The only means you can take the stuff home to your apartment and eat the stuff if you can't smoke.
Ain't being made in my store. I ain't buying that damn
Hope he don't rid of his oven fans.
So we can pretty do this all night.
Just asking for that.
So we have a motion and a second to schedule another public hearing for on-site consumption.
And, oh yeah, that's right, because it's just that's a motion at this time.
Shall we vote on that and see what happens? This is just to schedule a public hearing. Because we can argue about the whole thing all night if we want to. Fran,
No,
Charles,
I'm gonna say yes, I wanna see where it goes.
okay? Ed,
Yeah, I'll say yes also.
Ron,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes,
Laura,
No,
I'll say yes. I like to see where it goes thing.
I'm going to make another motion to schedule a public hearing for the dispensary for a different reason, which is, well, actually to try and once again, get more input from our village residents. Once again, I take exception that there were 50 people at that.
well, there were at least.
Okay,
They're mostly from the town.
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of people.
Yeah, hardly anybody from the village, but anyways, I would like us to have it also, since we're having that public hearing, let's have the public hearing about the dispensaries and see what folks think about that. We have another opportunity to chime in. And the board can then decide if they want to take that any further. I said that my thing would be to take that to referendum and find out what the people think. These public hearings are difficult places to get people to come to. It doesn't mean people don't care because they don't come to a public hearing. They just don't come to. But anyway, I would like us to add that dispensary one and do them both. And then we will have done better due diligence for our citizens, in my opinion. So I move that we public hearing for the dispensary.
Any seconds to that?
I'll second
Okay. I mean, we could have the same argument about that. Do we want to, or do we just want to float?
Let's vote.
All right. Fran,
No,
Charles,
it, yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Ron,
No.
Rusty,
Yes.
Laura,
no.
what do you say, Ross?
nothing ever comes up to me. I'll say yes, never hurts to have more info.
Thank you for including me.
We'll never get to make a decision.
Yeah, we didn't make a decision. We just gave people a chance to chime in. Thank you.
Do you want to move the meeting location?
Yes.
To Rodney's office.
The new building?
About company four.
Who said number sources? Did you say that?
Real nice, the fire chief can use this training center again.
I think it's good.
Maybe the,
Probably, yeah.
maybe the seat, maybe the storing industry was on Saturday.
Yes, we'll need to find a bigger place.
Monday the 20th is what we're sniffing at. You think the training facility will be available?
They rented it out quite a bit for Christmas.
Well, let us know. Otherwise, we'll find somewhere else. Let us talk about attorneys or something.
You can't hold a special meeting, of course. I'm free the 25th, probably.
Okay, briefly talk about that.
I mean, but that is, of course, a possibility.
It's possible.
Well, hasn't the town offered this facility if we ever need it?
They have, yeah.
Just throwing out options.
Yeah.
Do we have to have that for our announcement in the press tomorrow, or can we add that?
It's a good idea.
It is, yeah, you need
Publish
to
it correctly,
identify the location of the place. You should.
and we can always change it, but then that looks bad too. Or misleads people.
Well, if we've got to have that in tomorrow, then we're gonna have to put it for here for tomorrow, because we don't have another option yet.
Although the notice needs to be to the press by noon typically, so the chief can just confirm, you know.
Hopefully we'll know soon whether we can use the training center.
You guys,
Be nice once we get over there, we won't have to move anything again, because that room's nice over there. Big.
that's up to you, Mayor, you figure that out.
We can go over there, it's a room,
I'm just saying,
there's lights in there.
the board doesn't have to figure that out, you're gonna figure that out.
We bring our day and go through the.
There you go. I'll let you.
No,
Is there a motion for it?
We're just talking.
Chatter about where it's gonna be, the mayor's gonna have to.
But since we're on the subject of meetings, I'd like to make a motion that we change the day of our board meetings from Mondays to Tuesdays.
So you have a motion on the floor. I just want to jump in. During the village's reorganizational meeting, that's typically when that happens.
Okay.
But, so I mean, you could do that, but that's the normal time to choose those dates.
I think Charles wanted to do it starting
2022
next year.
which is
I'll second
a
that.
couple of weeks away.
Yeah, it'll be the meeting after the next one. So we're affecting meetings from January through April.
I mean, if it works for everybody, I mean, I miss you guys. I can't be here on Monday.
What's your name? And we got a full house here tonight, which we normally don't have. We got a motion and a second to change the meetings to Tuesday nights, starting in January. 6:30 to the 7th? 6, 5, no. Rusty?
That's just in our yearly organization, that's not in our charter or our code, is it? That has to be on.
Right, yeah, it's just in the yearly meeting. It sets all the dates in the yearly meeting.
6 o'clock is.
See, I don't know what the people that run the shop, so.
6:30 is the earliest.
Because we do have.
Tuesdays are convenient.
They like to.
Okay. I'm okay with Tuesdays. Do we want to talk about a time earlier or let's do it again?
Want to have the folks think about that a little bit and then decide, we don't have to decide it today, want to decide it next meeting?
No.
What's wrong with deciding this meeting?
Yes, what is wrong with that?
That's what I'm asking.
Yes, I'm asking you.
I don't see any problem in voting on it right now.
Yeah, I know you don't. Let's vote on it right now. Let's vote on it.
Delay it,
I mean, it would be okay to think about it. People have schedules, you know. My only concern, my thing is I can't make the Monday meetings, but I'm always here whenever there's a holiday and it falls on a Tuesday. So if it's not much of a hassle or an inconvenience to anybody else, maybe Tuesday should work better.
Yeah.
We do have current in the code as far as when and how we do this.
Okay. Well, I wasn't familiar with it. I just.
It's in the charter.
So it has to be Monday?
Yeah, right, yeah, we'll have to vote to change the law.
Okay, didn't I just ask?
You did.
Well, I've got this handy dandy link out on here.
So to Ron's point, which I probably should have also followed up. I could have seen that. So we would need a local law to amend the code or charter to give, to return to the board full discretion in choosing meeting nights. I mean, we could also have the meeting night moved to Tuesdays approval as well. As a right.
I would rather break local law just to let the board decide. So, the 20th is available at the training center.
So we're not allowed by motion to do this.
No, but we can make a motion to draft a local law to be able to do it at the next meeting.
Well, we figured out there's enough time to schedule a public hearing. We can schedule a public hearing next meeting.
That's the, whatever those words were. I would just like to be here.
Would you want to lock it, the law to Tuesdays, or would you just want to, like Nate suggested, allow the board to
I would suggest
have
giving
their own dates?
Yeah, giving you flexibility.
The flexibility.
Yeah.
I mean, that motion.
Okay. So we have a second on that motion? So,
A little quicker.
So
Rusty,
to clarify, we're gonna, Nate draws local law 5, that's going to change the wording on chapter 42 meetings, 42.1, but time and place of meetings, and it's going to change it from Mondays at 7 to some flexibility by the board. Some
what's it say for the location?
That's
boardroom in the municipal building.
I'm just wondering if the new building's going to affect that.
that was gonna do it.
That'll be the municipal building, yeah.
So that language, Mr. Document Guy, should say that the village board has the option to be changing these things, and it has the option to change the location. He said all that flexibility, yes.
Yeah.
It should say that.
Silence is also,
So I'm not saying anything is going to it, yeah.
because generally speaking, the board has the discretion to designate a time and place of its regular meetings.
Just go to shut up. Silence is golden. You just don't say shut up.
So Charles, was that the motion? He's going to draft a law,
Yes.
and we're going to have a public hearing next. Do we want to have it at the same time we're having this other one?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay, Mike as well? Just asking.
So we'll vote on that. Fran,
Yes.
Charles, Ed,
For conservatism.
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
and yes.
One last little piece for me, because I just can't shut up. I don't like to vote on anything that I haven't had a time to think about and talk to other people about. So when someone says to me, let's vote, I want to vote, why can't we vote now? It's because I don't like to vote hardly ever without thinking about something. I don't like something to come up here, boom, let's vote, okay, let's vote, yeah, yeah. I don't like doing that. I like thinking about things. I like thinking about overnight. Is that a good idea? I like talking to somebody, that's why I don't like to vote these things so fast. That's all, thanks.
So think about Tuesdays, I guess. Obviously, it's not in the law, but just in general. See what you got going on. Anything else? We're out of order here, so I'm good. Let's go back to the agenda. The cost sharing and maintenance data transfer with BMETS. He's not the band in that.
So the pedestrian and bicycle
Yeah.
counter, or
So this
however
is-
many people use the Riverwalk.
This is a counter that they already have installed on the Riverwalk. It's been there 2 years. I think is what it said. Yeah, almost 2 years. Binghamton Metropolitan Transportation Study.
And so currently the study is paying for it, right? The data, and we just don't get the data unless we pay for it or share the cost of it.
They want us to share the maintenance cost, which comes out at $356 a year. So for these counters.
So it's not data, they want us to.
I assume we'll get the data. We have never seen the data because they've been there for 2 years. No, we haven't ever asked. There was counters down there.
It'd probably be useful if you ever needed to apply for grant funding to improve that Riverwalk, because people will know like how many people are actually using it.
So they're collecting the data now and they want us to pay for it.
They want us to pay for the part of, it's half of the maintenance on these sensors or whatever.
So they want us to pay for the system to get the data. They want us to pay part of it for the data that they're not giving us.
No, it's not quite like we're gonna get the data to use it. Hold on. Let me
Because
see.
I don't understand this at all, so.
And it says that if they have, there's a fee for automatic data transfer of the counts to the Eco Counter server where we can download and analyze the data. The yearly maintenance fee that includes a visit from Eco Counter technicians who inspect and correct maintenance issues found with the counters. We're asking the village of Owego to consider a proposal below to split the maintenance and data transfer costs with BMTS for the counter located in the village of Owego. I have broken down the costs below and look forward to hearing.
What are they saying? With that fee, they are gonna give us the data.
I would assume we could get it if we asked, yeah.
So did we, right? Is this something that we set up or put in, or what's the story?
They just put them in, I think, and there's no storage.
So we don't know anything about this. We didn't ask for it, we didn't put it in, we don't know anything about it.
We installed.
We did install it. So,
I
might have to look.
but, so we,
About 2 years ago.
so we must have approved installing it. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't remember.
They're asking for $300 a year.
Well, to be consistent with what I said earlier, they don't know anything about this, don't want to vote on this right this minute. So we do it just a tiniest little bit of understanding what this is.
From my emails, you can see my task was just to bring it up.
Yep, I'm just saying it. Don't you know a little bit something I don't?
Maybe ask somebody from BMTS to.
So if you have questions, let me know.
Tell us about it.
It really appears like they're just asking us to share the cost of it nicely, but there's no need for us to actually do it. We're not getting anything from them. They're just, offering us that we could share that.
That's thoughtful of them.
Yeah, that's how this appears.
I knew what the heck we were getting for.
If I thought BMTS gave a rat's butt about the village of Owego,
Yeah.
I'd tell you it's been for it, but they don't.
They didn't know who to reach out to. They don't have any contact with the machine currently to know.
They barely care about Tyler County.
I'd say the county ought to pay for it then. Not really.
Let's put this on the back burner.
I can ask them to come to a meeting and explain.
If they want this
I
coming.
didn't even know there was counters down there, to be honest.
I'd be very curious what the due date is.
I've never seen any data of how many bikes or dogs or whatever go down there. It's always money, you can't clean it. I did my job, I brought it up. Nothing down. All right, transfer from A 3089 state aid, A 1490.40.093, new municipal bill, $92,132.88.
All standard automatic writing,
Just to pay the bills for the new building.
so moved.
I'll second.
Any questions about that?
When are we gonna be done paying for the new building?
Hopefully when we move in,
So
which is soon. Yeah. Almost done.
Seems like every couple of weeks we give it a money.
We should be in there by the end of the year.
Yeah, that's the unofficial time on this.
Right.
Given by them.
It's the unofficial timeline. Does it have, I know they were stuck on the internet for the locks to work or something. Does it have internet now?
No, fiber optics won't be done till December 17th.
Next week.
Once that's in, IT will do whatever they gotta do. And then
Right.
the lock guys can do their thing.
Let's vote on this transferring the money from the state aid. It sits in our fund to the account that actually pays it off. Fran,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
I think
Ron,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
and yes. Next thing is, well,
Mr. Mayor,
let's go out of order.
you want to do the election inspectors? No, I'm sorry.
I was gonna do the two Delta pay apps for the same building.
Same situation.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, you've seen it approved that Rodney's is
Yeah.
asking for. Move to do the two Delta pay apps for the prices on the agenda.
That's what actually pays the bills over there.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
We're afraid now, then.
I'm just.
We'll vote on that. Fran,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Ed. Ed, Ron,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
and yes. All right, now let's do the election inspectors.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
I move that we accept the resolution for the election inspectors as written on our handout. For the prices and names.
I second.
Any discussion on that? Thank you to the election inspectors for still volunteering because they get paid a little bit, but basically volunteering. We're volunteering too. Fran,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
and yes. We have the minutes. 11/15/2021, there we go.
I noticed, under trustee reports, under mine, there was, just the one, the seeker vote got, missed out of that. So just that portion would need to be put in, and,
What was it again?
we had the vote for the seeker. When we went through the process, we declared a negative review.
Negative declaration.
And Fran, Ed, and Charles voted no, and everyone else voted yes. I have, just, to send to the office name, spelling corrections for the people who were in the meeting. It doesn't change anything, that I would just, I'll send the correct proper spelling. And with that, I would approve the, motion to approve the minute.
I'll second that with those changes.
Okay. Any other discussion on the minutes? Fran?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Rusty?
Abstaining, did not get the minutes. Thank you.
Laura?
Yes.
And yes. Next, knocking it off, payment of bills.
Looks good to me. I'll motion to approve payment of bills.
I'll second.
All right, any questions on them?
You good with them, Mayor?
Yeah, I looked at it. While I was staying warm and waiting on everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't any crazy. Fran?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
And yes. All right, next thing is Rusty reports. Fran, what do you got?
I don't have any deal on the cemetery committee at the moment. Other than the fact that we're going to have a joint meeting in the beginning of January with the Friends of Evergreen Cemetery, so that we can coordinate our plans for the maintenance of the cemetery as far as, fundraising and so on. I do have a question on the location of the emergency squad. If there is a problem with air quality that is coming down to the second floor from the third floor, that room is, excuse me, that number 4 is right above where the EMS is.
The other side.
It's on the other side of
It's
it.
on the other side of the hall, but
Yeah,
But still, there's, as Captain mentioned, there's not insulation of airflow between the different floors. So I think we need to check the quality of the air in that room where the EMS is located.
I think the chief said they did the whole thing.
Chief said he did
He's
that.
going to do that?
He
I
did.
didn't say done.
No, he's-
Said he did.
Yeah, because if they did, they don't have the results yet.
Okay, all right, well, I'm just concerned about that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Ready for a clean video that comes to that.
Yes,
I mean, we'll be vacating this building soonish, so, well, not this building, but this part of it.
yeah, but you don't have a garage,
Wait,
the ambulance is in here.
No, you can't. We'll figure it out.
well, it's just, this has been a growing concern with the mold in that building, of different things that happened, that we found in the walls ourselves. Of course, I stand concerned, and as to what we would do as a location to be able to provide what we're doing. If you miss the beat, you miss the beat.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Because if they're only going to, say, repair the roof and tidy up a room, that's not taking care of the problem. And I know it's the funds issue. I know it's. But it's not worthwhile.
Yeah, no, figure it out. See what they heard. Study from. See where we go from there.
We can count on mold, I know that's there.
Okay, thank you.
What else do you-
Yeah, so I'll follow up on that, which is certainly a major concern. They need to find out about air quality, and if we can fix the roof, when we do fix the roof, and then we're going to need to do eradication of mold,
Yeah.
which we will have to do in much of the station. But we'll see how this all goes and what's what, and what our options are, but we certainly are gonna have to do that one way or another too.
Yeah, as long as we're protecting our personnel.
Absolutely.
I can knock it down for 200,000.
Have the historical society on. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, Charles?
Fred Reelman.
I'm all done.
No, other than what Jeff submitted in his memo, I have nothing.
Yeah, you got anything?
It's sleeping.
Went to the refrigerator again.
All right, we'll assume he has nothing. If he can say something when he gets back. Ron?
You know, in the executive session, you're all open for.
Forgot about that already.
You guys thought we were almost done. Rusty?
I don't have any report other than I know we are looking at people to serve on our committees, and I see that some of them have come to the meeting tonight, so I'm appreciative that they came to talk to us or whatever that is on their minds. Thank you for volunteering and coming.
Laura?
Yeah, will we be considering that during the mayor's report for the committees for planning and zoning?
Yep.
Okay, so I saw that the renewals for some of the members who are currently sitting on have come up. And one of the members on that list was the chair of the zoning. And I'm not in favor of that. I've been speaking up at many meetings about the committees and that they haven't been doing their minutes for years. And these are decisions on projects for the, they're asking for
DRI stuff.
yeah, DRI stuff and big, what's the word? Variances, sorry. Variances and stuff. And we would, we have our scheduled meetings and they just wouldn't show the meetings for many and didn't respond to email. And when they did have meetings, they didn't do the minutes. So, people with projects come and they want to consider, they finally get considered, and then the paperwork doesn't come through. And then there's pressure on the village and people want their projects completed. But it's just this person who, finally this is a chance to get him off because he's not doing his work. Not showing up to, like, we've said many times that you have to do the minutes. Nobody had to get paid for them, but he had to do the minutes. And we gave various guidance about how it could be done. And we've given many free opportunities for training. And I don't believe they met the required training for these years that he served.
The executive session or should?
Yeah, I think we should finish our board members on the meeting.
Would you like to ask for executive session? We're going into one anyway.
Or you can just not vote yes for that particular person.
Right, I just think it should be noted that people, like, if we know that the things are not being followed by the current people in the positions. So, like, we have projects that have gotten their variances, and they're, these buildings are going to be getting built, but did zoning actually do their paperwork? The state gonna come back and say, hey, where's the paperwork for this project? We don't have it because somebody didn't do their job, and we're not making them report it in.
Okay, but again, this is not the place to bash our other board members and volunteers. There's reasons for that stuff. So
Well, I mean,
we do have a resolution to fix, we'll call it fix, our annual meeting. We're supposed to reappoint all these people, Julie Nucci, Jeff Van Wagenen, Joyce Manti, Nadine Bigsby, Tim Dice and James Polarizer to various different, to the planning board, one to the, one's actually. is the zoning board and 3 OHPC. Christie?
When are these, it says that they expire this year. When do these expire?
They expired this year. They're all rolling terms, so they expire different years. One's 2026, 2024, 2023.
You take effect in.
Right,
They were supposed to have been appointed at the reorg.
correct.
At this last annual meeting,
Previous one,
and we did not do that.
correct.
And so technically, these people's terms all expired then?
Yes, their terms would have expired then, and they continue acting as the board members. And so any meetings that have been held, are certainly valid meetings insofar as actions have been taken because they were acting with apparent authority. They hold over in office until someone is appointed to take the
They
office.
continue to hold in their office till someone else is appointed. They technically, all of them, well, Julie Nucci would be interesting because she just got appointed to the board after that. I'm just saying, she just got appointed.
I don't know when she.
As did Judge Mantek, both of them got appointed after the last meeting.
We're both within 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And I thought Nadine was good to go.
I don't remember. I know Cindy looked through all this.
Presented.
Mr. Mayor, as usual, could we re-examine this? Because obviously there's some glitches here. And
I mean, Cindy looked through all this and these are the people that she couldn't find motions that were appointing.
I know we did it for Julie and Joyce.
Right.
So this list is not accurate. So can we
get back to drawing?
we do that?
Scratch that list, we'll figure it out again, I guess. I know Cindy was trying to figure it out. But it was quite the mess.
No, it doesn't. See, it says Julie Nucci's good until 2026.
Right.
And Van Wagner till 24th, Manti till 2023, so. We're not expecting.
So
Julie coming up.
Julie was appointed to an open seat, right?
Yes.
The seat the person who was in it, their term had expired and she was appointed to fill. But it wasn't at the reorg meeting, it was later because you were trying to find, because she was appointed to fill the open vacancy, right? So 2026 makes sense because it would have been a 5-year term for her. So you don't need to reappoint her to anything
Until 2026.
until 2026. But I guess that question,
So then I guess none of these
my
people-
question would be, why can't Cindy find that in minutes? Because the board clearly remembers appointing her
Yeah.
fairly recently.
Can we do some more research on
She has the date that their terms expire.
Yeah, she has these dates here, which none of them are this year, so
Well, so
maybe we're good, I don't know.
Yeah, I think to Rusty's point, just finding out maybe from Cindy, do these folks, because Julie was just,
So is my, and it's only
I remember doing her meeting or not. Yeah.
back to the.
Tell Cindy to figure out what's going on there.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
are you done? Can I interrupt you for a minute and then we'll get back to you?
You can
Interrupt for a minute.
interrupt me for that.
I'd like to add to the executive session discussions of appointees.
Discussions, what kind of discussions?
Personnel.
Personnel discussions about the appointees,
What appointments?
about these potential,
About the current people that are on?
about these potential reappointments. Like that. We're supposed to say what we're doing, so I'm ready. So I move that we add that to the executive session. I don't want to discuss these things in working.
You know, hold on now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who said it?
Ron. So we'll talk about that, Fran,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Ted,
You're being a conservative. You're being a Republican right now. Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
and Rusty.
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
and yes.
Thank you for letting me interrupt. You're on the floor.
Okay, and then, I think everybody who stepped forward to volunteer to serve for the planning and zoning boards, it was really nice to see the turnout. There's a lot of people who considered it and then didn't submit their letters. And there were quite a few people that showed interest in the village, both village residents and people who were further out that did want to help out and found out that they couldn't. So it was really nice for that, and I think that we should. It would be very nice to have a refreshing of people who want to serve. Anyways, I guess we can talk more when you appoint about anybody potentially coming on. But OHPC's next meeting will be first or second week of January on the 7th, 7 p.m. They had a couple things on the agenda that had passed. Recently, the county office building was recommended to be put onto the National Historic Register. However, and OHPC did write a good letter, but the county decided to decline to go through the motions for that at this time. And everything's well on track for that, and I don't have any dates yet except for next planning or zoning. Is that just the standard end of the month date for this time, or are those?
Yeah, we should get with the chair, because the standard end of the month times are 8th and the 29th, which is right after Christmas. But that's the next.
Well, and I know one of the things, of course, each board is waiting on is to have persons appointed, and then those persons need an opportunity to get up to speed with just the matter that are currently.
Right. So I don't know when they'll schedule the next meeting. Their regular scheduled meeting will be the 28th, 29th.
I haven't received anything that says we're scheduled yet, but they're just,
right.
They're not on the calendar yet. That's it for me.
Right. So communications, I'll do those quick first. I sent out just a little DRI update. Myself, Rusty, and Brittany Woodburn met with Hunt Engineering, Tim Steed and Chris Wood, kick off our village-owned DRI projects. One thing that came out of that meeting is we will need to create 2 steering committees, one for the North Avenue Art Park, one for Marvin Park and the trails that run along the creek / the river walk. They thought that would be the best, just to get, those are the 2 biggest projects that are kind of big question marks that need input from our board and the public. So the idea is to have up to 3 of us on each of those committees, and then maybe a couple other people from the public, and then bring people in as needed. They're going to need more community outreach than the other projects we have, or like the fire station, where we're going to spend all our money fixing the problems we have, and a sewer line behind Lake Street, which nobody's going to care about.
Well, it has to be done.
No community input.
Right.
Yeah, but the sewer project has to be done before we do the park.
Right. And the other one's parking, which that one will have some input, but not like a full-blown committee, because a lot of it's just repaving parking lots. And then the lights on the south side and the other electrical issues, which again, that's just, okay, make them work. I mean, it's not a lot of input there.
So solar.
So, yeah, solar, just a little yard lights over there or something. But anyway, so they're working on, they're moving full steam ahead on the easy ones, I'll say, like the fire station, the non-input ones, the fire station, the electrical, the sewage line. So we'll be getting hold of you. This is pretty much a legal project. And then they're gonna they need committees from us for these bigger projects. So there'll be more meetings. We want to have up to no more than 3 of us, because if we have 4 of us, then it's a village board meeting. We got to advertise it.
I just wanted to really enough that I don't have park, since I live right there, I have a business right there, I'm very interested in that.
As much as I love that park,
Those of us who have a business on
You
the.
know?
and as much as I love that park, love that whole concept, I probably would have input from that also.
Sorry to put your name down.
Mike, can I throw something in there? Just because the rest of the board didn't. So Mike and Hunt and look at that and prioritize which projects need to go first.
Yeah.
We said that fire station roof needs to go today, right this minute. The lights over there are a priority, the sewers are a priority, the Marvin Park and the Riverwalkie stuff are lesser priority, those can go later.
Yeah.
So we kind of, without your permission, we kind of prioritize that, which others can chime in and say what they think.
And the Hunt is trying to package them and not just send out one thing to bid, like the lights, because if they package them, it'll help us get the requirements for the women-owned, minority-owned business kind of thing. Yeah. So they're trying to figure all that out, and it might help us get people, they said, just as the world is today, there's an issue where they are bidding a couple of projects and nobody bid, because it's not big enough for them to bid. So if we say, we'll come fix some lights, we may get 0 bidders.
Oh, Tracy.
Mayor, are you going to be on these committees? I would expect the mayor would be on these. Oh, okay, that didn't work.
So we still need, or have 2 seats open in the Marvin Park one, for the front one,
Who's on that so far?
just Laura.
On Park also, and, well, I'll do it.
I can't overcommit, my wife will shoot me.
I'll do it, I don't have a life.
That's why I wanted to stay on this. And obviously, I mean, everything design-wise gets approved by the whole board. We'll come and present everything, but these committees are designed to kind of steer in the right direction that we're thinking.
And we don't have to have.
You don't have to.
It's good.
It could be
Have to have.
more, it could be-
We don't have to, but that's fine. too.
Yeah, well, I'd be on the Marvin Park.
All right. Send those names to Hunt. Did my job again there.
And well done.
All right, mayor's report. I don't have a report, besides I would like to appoint, I'm gonna say her name wrong, Georgia Manthai to the family board. Her term will expire, she's replacing Trudy. Her term will expire in 2023. Can I satisfy all your requirements?
Yes.
And then I'd like to make a motion to appoint Mark Trabuco to the zoning board, whose term would also expire in 2023.
I'll second that.
That one requires a vote. Any discussion on that? We'll vote on that. Fran?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
And yes. So that
Thank
fills
you.
those seats.
It's a pleasure to work with you again. Thank you for,
Thank you to everybody who has volunteered and sent letters in, because we did get a number of them. Quite the process. So we'll do public comment. If anybody has anything. And then we'll do the executive session.
Yeah, if we find we need to replace some of the current board members,
Mhm.
We'll be looking at the other persons that have applied.
Definitely, yeah.
So don't go far.
Yeah, don't go, we'll make you off the hook. Any public comment?
I'll make a public comment in regards to the, instead of coming to the public hearing that you're gonna have. This is for you, Rusty. I would say I'm in favor of the dispensary downtown. I would not, however, vote for an on-site smokehouse or cafe, whatever it is. So that's my public comment there for your public hearing that you're having next week. That I'm not going to come to.
One.
Spread the word we have.
Somebody that bothers.
Spread the word we have.
Somebody that bothers come to the meeting.
And there is other ways to participate than coming, right? You can email any of us. Call us. We'll have the thing, the go-to meeting open, so enjoy that way too.
Yep, that's always good to post.
Spread the word. There's plenty of ways to participate if you like. Or if you don't like public speaking or whatever.
Get used to it.
And it will be at the, we got confirmation, it will be at the fire training center. It is available. Publish that.
Yeah.
Julie?
I have more concerns about public consumption as well. The dispensary, I don't. The one thing I was Googling and they said that in terms of driving, because obviously the driving is the issue, they said that it seems particularly bad from what I read if someone drinks and consumes marijuana. So if you had a public consumption place, if the public really insisted on that, could you forbid alcohol also be there or?
It can't be on the same.
Yeah, I think that's in the
It's a
state.
good, it's a good law.
Okay, that's gonna be separate.
Okay. And they also said that there are like limits that can be placed on if you do like an oral swab or THC or whatever. I was reading on a Canadian website that it seems there is some testing, but that's much more concerning to me than a dispensary.
And from the people I've talked to, that seems to be the general consensus. They're okay with a dispensary. They don't want a lounge.
That was my gut.
Downtown.
In every case, though, anything you decide that's a no this year could be a yes at some future date.
Yeah, correct. We can always change
There's
it.
nothing to loss.
Yeah, we can always go the other direction. We can always go back in. Once we're in, we're never out. So that's still what we talk about.
And then January 2nd, back in.
Yeah, so if you find there's a demand for it and you feel you've got enough laws in place and enough policing and knowledge to
And testing.
to detect it, which we don't have right now, then you can go ahead and add the lounge option later.
I know they tried this on-site idea with many different drugs. They tried it with heroin, we passing out needles, come do it right here, it's okay. Back in the 80s, smoking crack in a smokehouse, it just doesn't work. You know, I mean, if you're gonna go to dispensary, go home, bring it home. Don't walk home and have a temporal smoke billowing from your head on your way there. I mean, there's certain things, there's certain stipulations that guidelines that gotta be followed. You know, I only made the comparison to that, to the bar, because those problems, it's just there. I mean, you know,
They're similar.
they're pretty silly, you know? That's all I have to say about
All
that.
right, any more public comments? So we got people online. We got Kevin on. Okay, all right, so
I
we're
actually have
gonna do.
something.
Oh,
I kind of had my hand up, and he was looking at the screen. And Robin left. But I remember back when I was on the squad, they had curtains on all the windows of the squad. And the back window, and I don't know how many times, twice now, I have been behind the squad. They've got the lights on, and I can see who they've got on the gurney. Which, that's, people shouldn't be seeing who's inside that squad.
right, or what's going on.
Yeah. And the one person I actually knew. He saw me and waved at me.
Send them flowers?
No. No,
What we call them if they see me.
yeah, he's fine now. But I just think that they need to think about covering up those windows.
Yeah.
That's definitely a privacy issue. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. And the chief left too, but
Yeah, I got a ticket.
there's somebody who likes to park their vehicle in front of the fire station all the time. Which I don't, right in front of the doors. I don't think he should be doing. Even though he's inside, he can move his car, he shouldn't be parking out.
I think that's enough standing zone.
Especially when you got all those nice new diagonal parking spaces in the back.
What have any comment about those?
They're gonna go away.
Those parking places? Fair little ones would be all right.
Hey, I put my truck through there. I haven't hit Sonya's car yet. I haven't hit Sonya's car yet.
All right, anything else? So we are gonna go to executive session. So I'll leave this on, I'm gonna mute it. Oops, all right, I'm gonna mute it, we're gonna go to executive session, then we'll come back.
You're gonna call that.
Yeah, we'll call it on the phone.
Okay.
Well,
I'd say no action expected after executive. Expected.
Hey, Rodney. Hey, Rodney. Hey, Rodney. Rusty, can you hear me? Hello, Kevin. Oh, no, no, I was just asking you who was appointed on the planning board. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but her name isn't Marilyn, is it? I don't know who you, her name isn't Gloria, is it? Oh, you know how people have official names and names they use, so maybe, but I know who you mean, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think I think so. It's hard to say always, but I think basically yes. She is, I think, somehow related to Steve DeVarney, but in a weird way. No, no, I don't think it will be. I think no, my gut sense is she'll be good. I think she's smart and she'll follow the rules and she'll be, she'll rule on stuff sensibly. All right. Yep. Bye bye. Hey, Rodney, I was hello.
As soon as it. I can't do it.
I called him on the phone, he should be gone.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I was.
that was there? Okay.